Hello and welcome, this is Gunner, and we're back with some more of the Flashpoint DLC for BattleTech. I just wrapped up a Flashpoint contract, so now it's time to seek further employment. And if I remember correctly, there isn't any contracts in this system that I want to do. No, there isn't. So, with that being said, let's find our next destination. So, more than likely we're going to go here. We already checked this contract out. It's 3.5 skulls. It is a short contract. We're going to be employed by House Steiner. We're trying to get an alliance with them, so it makes sense to do this contract. Unfortunately, it's going to be against House Davian, the person that just employed us recently, so we're going to be hurting our reputation that we just built up. But we don't have any restrictions here, so this would probably be a good mission for us. So with that being said, let's just check real quick to make sure there isn't any other flashpoints that weren't here before. I don't believe I saw this one. So this is the Capellans. I'm just kind of surprised they're still hiring me after what we did the last time, but we're going to be against a mercenary company, medium length, consecutive deployments, but no restrictions. Okay, 3.5 skulls as well. And I'm not seeing anything else. So these other two ones were around before. This one is a 3 skull mission. It's going to be the Federated Sons against a mercenary company. And that had a little bit longer. I mean, this is only 66 days. And this one, I think, also has a longer one. But it's House America against House Steiner, and we don't want to do that because we don't want to hurt the reputation with House Steiner. So not likely going to do that one anyway. So yeah, definitely looking like we're going to go here, which is 19 days away. All right, so that's our time that we have to work on things. Let's just check. Okay, it looks like this planet is at least going to have a population, so there'll probably be a store. That's nice. All right, so before we actually travel there, we want to go into the mech bay and make some changes to mechs, perhaps. Before we do that, of course, we're going to repair the trebuchet. And of these, the Yager is going to probably matter the most, and if we move that up, that's going to take 9 days to do, so that really gives us 10 days if we have something else we'd rather like to do. And in my mind, the priority is probably the Orion, as it could be a good replacement for the Trebuchet. The Thunderbolt, the other T word. It's going to be kind of hard to replace the Thunderbolt. The Orion and the Thunderbolt kind of have similar design principles. So really what we're looking for is similar armor values and similar damage values. They're going to have the same speed, so still, you know, that's going to be a little bit of a problem that we have to deal with, but that's what we're looking for in the Orion. So this one's empty. What kind of slots does it have, though? It has 2 energy weapon slots, 3 missile slots, and 2 ballistic slots. Okay, I'm not too big of a fan of that. We do have this one, which is full of weapons already. What is its slots? So we have 1 ballistic slot, 4 energy weapon slots, and 2 missile slots. That's a little bit better. What was the difference here? 3 missile slots, so more missile heavy. Okay. And this one's the one that I think is, it's got less armor. Yeah, 920, so they could have more firepower. And then this one has 1160. So we'd have better armor with this version of the Orion. Whether or not we'd want to alter this one, I'm not sure. I mean, it doesn't have the damage output right now, 202, but it's unaltered. We could probably get that damage output by moving things around a little bit. Also, we have to consider the Thunderbolt. Although it does have a high damage output, a lot of that is in its small lasers. As a matter of fact, 60 damage comes from that. And that's something that's not going to be used all that frequently. There are times where I've been able to set it up where we're getting that kind of damage output, and it's nice when we were able to get it. And it didn't seem like the Orion's either version had the ability for support weapons. So we just have to kind of remove that. So if that's the case, then the Orion is putting out more damage output than the Thunderbolt from that standpoint. If you delete the 60 damage here, because that would put you down to what, 175? 175? And this is 202. So, but the big problem with this Orion is its heat efficiency is really bad. And we built this not that much better, but a little bit better. So maybe we could work to get it more heat efficient. But that being said, this one's already set up. So let's see if we can do something with this one, because this could be a good fallback. If something happens, we'd have another Orion ready to go. Let's see if we can do something with this Orion. I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan of having only 2 energy weapon slots, but we do have more missile slots. We may end up having to rock an AC-10, which is typically what you would have. I don't have any up damage ones, unfortunately. I do have up damage AC-20s, but that may be a little too heavy. There's a difference of 2 tons between the two, and you're getting a lot of damage output for that only 2 tons difference. But you have two issues. Issue number one is that that is delivered at short range. That high damage output is delivered at much shorter range. So range here, where do we see that? 270, whereas the AC-10 is 450. So definitely longer range weapon than the AC-10. But with that being said, you also have more, well, I guess the stability damage is pretty much on par if you get the upgraded version like this. It's only a difference of 10. But anyway, you know, going back to the subject here. So that's the downside. And then also the other downside is the ammunition. Tends to have, let's actually just grab the ballistic weapon slots so we can look at the ammo. So, oh, I actually don't have any AC-10 ammo. Whoops. Okay, well, let's look at the AC-20 then. We get 5 rounds per shot. I want to say the AC-10 is 8 rounds per shot. So not a huge difference, but it does matter. So for something like this, I would say 15 rounds minimum to be safe. 10 rounds is a little tight, in my opinion. Even 15 rounds might not be enough. So that's going to be a 3-ton minimum. Whereas with the AC-10, that would be a 2-ton minimum, because you'd have 16 shots for the AC-10. So that's where I think you'd have the big difference. So it's really a difference of 3 tons if you think about it. I'm going to load it out with the AC-20 though, because we actually have the ammo for it. All right, let's load up the legs here with our ammunition. We'll probably put LRM, because I think we're gonna go kind of close to the way this thing is normally loaded out, which would be an LRM-15. I'd like to have some long-range punch, and that would put it on par with what the Thunderbolt gives. In that regard, we could go 1 ton or 2. 1 ton would give us more than 10 shots. 2 tons would give us, what, 240? Yeah, I mean, that would give us, you know, quite a lot of shots. I think we may be able to get away with 1 ton. Let's just put that over there to balance it, right? Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So we've got only 6 tons to play with. We know we're going to have to upgrade the armor. We haven't played any energy weapons in. So far, heat efficiency is not too bad, but again, we haven't put any energy weapons in yet. What is our damage output? We're going at 170. And then we do a couple medium lasers. Maybe the ones with the crit chance here. So medium laser, medium laser. And that should put us at 220. That's not too bad. Most of that's close range, but I really don't like depending on only a few weapons, of course, but that's not bad damage output. The problem is our heat efficiency is kind of crap right now. But we still have 4 tons to play with. Maybe we could get 2 tons of... I don't think the heat exchanger is going to help us much, because we do have that equipment. Where is that? Right here. Yeah, it's 10% reduction, and we're at 64. And if I remember correctly, it's 2 tons. So that's going to be almost the same as grabbing 2 heat sinks, because -3 heat per turn. It'd be the same thing. So let's say we grab 2 heat sinks. Are we going to want the gyro? The 30% damage, stability damage taken? I mean, doesn't cost us any tons to equip. It just takes up slots. I mean, honestly, this is probably better than the heat efficiency of a standard. Okay. I don't like it, but what would 1 ton of armor give us? I don't know if it'd be enough. I could always remove heat sink, but for now we're looking at 39 heat. I mean, obviously Gnarly would have to pilot this to be anywhere near being able to manage this heat efficiency, but more than likely you're not going to be firing the LRM-15 at those short ranges. I mean, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I really don't know if this is a good loadout, but I'm just kind of going with it. I mean, so far it seems it's all right. But yeah, let's play with the armor here a little bit. Let's go to 110 in the legs. We got 160 in the center torso. That's probably pretty good. We've already burned through a half of our ton, so We probably don't need an absolute ton of armor in our arms because there's only medium lasers there, so it's not like a huge loss if you lose that. The left and right torso is probably a bigger deal, so we should really up armor that. So maybe up to, let's say, like oh. Well, that's not gonna... So we could go to 125. Do we risk removing the heatsink? I could also put the cockpit mod in here. I don't have an extra one, but we'd have to remove it from the Thunderbolt. These cost weight, right? Yeah, they do. So we get one more ton of armor. What are we looking at durability right now? Yeah, we're at 1,000. We definitely needed that extra ton. So let's go up to, let's say 140. And our legs do matter, so we're going to go that up to, let's say 130. Okay. We're looking at how much? 1070. I mean, that's still well under your standard Orion. So 145, 145, 160, 130, 130. And that puts us at 1080. That probably is like close to the same amount of armor as what our Thunderbolt has. So you're getting a damage upgrade, sure, but you're not really getting an armor upgrade. Honestly, I kind of still like this loadout, though. It's pretty decent. I feel like it's well-rounded. You've got the long-range punch. You've got the close-range punch. It's, in theory, better than a Hunchback, perhaps. I'm not sure in armor. Hunchbacks have pretty good armor. At least frontally they do. Maybe not in the rear, but possibly on par with a Hunchback as far as armor goes. Damage output would be on par at the close range. And you have an extra long-range firepower, which a Hunchback wouldn't have. So I don't think this is a bad loadout. Maybe it's not the one we'd prefer, but... All right, we'll go with that.
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
So again, I'm not sure how much I like that. Now, what could we do with the standard Orion? Because we already kind of have, you know, we don't feel good about this heat. That's going to be hard to manage. So let's see what we can do with it. To me, one thing that jumps out right away is we have 3 different weapons with ammunition types. So that's a little inefficient from that standpoint. Here it looks like we have 2 LRM, 2 tons of LRM ammo, and we opted in the other one to only have 1 ton. So this would have better endurance for sure. And then we have the 2 tons of AC-10 ammo. We could swap that out to one of our upgraded AC-10s, no problem. If we wanted to keep the AC-10, of course. I do have an AC-5 that's upgraded in damage, and considering that it's a difference of 4 tons between the AC-5 and the AC-10, having a difference of only 10 damage, that's actually pretty efficient from a damage output standpoint. So we may be better off taking the AC-5. It does have a greater minimum range. As a matter of fact, AC-10s don't have a minimum range, so that's, you know, definitely has a greater minimum range. But that's not too bad. It wouldn't have the stability damage that the AC-10 has, but again, once you get into the heavier weight classes, that stability damage means less and less because knocking down a mech doesn't really matter anymore once they get up in the initiative because they'll just get right back up before you're really able to do anything about it. So in my mind, what we actually may be better off with the AC-5. The question is, do we have ammo for an AC-5? We've got 2 tons. That'd be plenty. So let's say we switch that out from a damage efficiency standpoint. We're going to go AC-5. We could have done that with the other setup, but we're trying to think about, like, how do we make this more heat efficient and damage efficient? So we drop that down to 192 from 202, but we can make up for it. I want to put the ammo in the legs. You tend to not get ammo explosions with the legs as much, and as we can see, the armor here is a lot heavier, especially in those legs. At 160, that's pretty darn good. We actually maybe want to rebalance this armor because right now it's kind of silly the way it is, but we'll play with that when we get there. All right, so more or less we have similar capability. We're going to have more endurance, that's for sure, because AC-5 ammo, it's I think it's 15 shots per. We could get away with just 1 ton if we really needed to. And obviously this thing has no heat sink, so any improvement we do at this point would be nice. All right, so the question is, do we want to rock an SRM-4 here? We could. Let's put the LRM ammo down here. But what I'm thinking, if we're talking a damage efficiency standpoint, this wouldn't necessarily be as heat efficient, but if we're talking damage efficiency and weight efficiency, we'd probably be better off grabbing a couple medium lasers here. We already grabbed some in our other loadout that were special. Now I kind of regret that, because this may actually be the better loadout. I guess we could go with this one though, right? And then we just grab a normal one. Okay, so right now heat efficiency we're looking at 70, which is not too bad, and we could probably get away with a heat exchanger because 10% of 70 is 7, which is more heat than we would dissipate with 2 heat sinks. So that definitely makes sense to have a heat exchanger. Now I'm kind of regretting putting the gyro in the other mech. We could always cancel the other one. It's not a big deal. I really wish you could save something like this. Like you're like, oh, okay, this build's looking a lot better. I would like to save it, but not actually start the work on it. You can't really do that, but that's just kind of what happens when you play around with these things. Okay, so heat exchanger, and then we go with some heat sinks. I may want to put a little bit more armor in this thing, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. So at that point, we're not a heck of a lot better. Wait, did that heat exchanger not do what I wanted it to do? We're down to 63, right? And then we put that in. 63. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, for some reason I got confused and I thought that number was... Yeah, okay. Ignore me, I'm just getting confused for no reason. All right. So that's what we're looking at. As far as I'm concerned, this is definitely not as heat efficient as our other loadout. Damage-wise, though, we're looking at 210, which is an improvement over the standard. Not as good as the other mech. I think that one had 220, right? It's actually tough. Which one's better? I feel like I should rebalance the armor, because like 160 in the legs and then 110 in the torso sections, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially as your weapons are there. Alright, you know what? I'm not going to add any armor, but I'm going to move it around. So we'll grab one more heatsink. And that will bump us up to 39 heat sinking with 63 heat generated. Again, probably worse. And then we go with... Yeah, I really don't know. I'm not sure if this is the better loadout, but it's an alternate loadout. Okay, so we did that. Now we just want to rebalance the armor. So let's go back, let's go down to 140. I think that's probably a good standard there. And then we'll just bump this up. So we can get away with 130. Let's at least get it up to 135. That feels a little bit more comfortable. And we probably, again, we don't need... I mean, we have more bearing in the arms, so maybe it makes sense to have more in those arms. Yeah, alright, well, it's definitely looking good, I think. I feel like we made the armor heavier in the other version, at least in the torso sections, but it made more sense, I guess, in that one. All right, well, it's actually debatable on which one's better out of these two, because damage is similar. Heat is probably better with the other loadout we did. This only takes 5 days to set up. I don't think we had a special LRM-15. I'd have to check that. But I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Okay. I mean, this is not, again, it's not bad. I like both. But yeah, we'll go ahead and confirm that. So I think in my mind, this one may actually be the better one. Once it's all set up and everything, this actually may be the better one, because I think it was more heat efficient. And I think it was also higher damage output. This has better range with that damage output, but it may not really... I kind of just prefer the closer range firepower in a lot of cases. I think it helps to have that LRM-15, and in both cases we had an LRM-15. Not as much endurance on this one as this one. And we could remove that 1 ton of LRM ammo to get a little bit more done with this mech, but yeah, all right. Different variants of the same, you know, same mech, kind of different strategies, but I think they both have their value. I don't know if I'm going to mess with the quick draw right now. We wouldn't get it done anyway. So let's manage our tasks and make sure that we would at least get the Orion done. And I think we want this one. So if we do that, that'd be 17 days. So these would all get done in the time frame. We'd have 17 days, 18 days, 19 days. So all this would get done before we arrive. And then the other Orion, we'd have 5 days to complete that. Yeah, okay. I'll take that. The only thing that we would have to consider is the Thunderbolt removing the cockpit mod from it and putting it in the Orion. We may want to do that. I don't want to have to redo the whole design though for that. So we'll be patient in that regard. So, and who knows, maybe we won't like the Orion. So that's a thought as well. But in any case, let's go ahead and take our destination. Which this is the right contract, I believe. Yep, okay, travel.
Roger that, Commander. Course plotted.
Now we are going to have to pay for that travel, but that's all right. We've got plenty of money. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to going to the store and seeing what we can pick up. May actually give us something that we're looking for anyway, and then maybe we could spend a day or something getting equipment that we'd want to switch some things around. But we should increase the weight of our mechs by a decent amount. I believe the Yager mech is at 65 tons, and the Orion is at 75 tons, so that's an increase of, I believe, 25 tons over our Lance overall. Don't know where that would put us, but... Okay, first harvest. Dr. Murad arrives at a briefing, her arms full of succulent red orbs. Look, the first harvest from the hydroponics garden. Are those tomatoes, Darius says? She tosses him one, and he bites into it, then sighs with satisfaction as he wipes the juice off his chin. They are. Tomatoes, strawberries, watermelon, squash, basil, and that's just the early harvest. With studied nonchalance, Samire snatches her own tomato from Farah's arms. The crew will be thrilled, Commander. How do you want to share the news? Okay, so we could throw a garden party or keep it low-key. Throw a garden party. It cost me 15,000. That's not a big deal. Dr. Murad stands in the center of the hydroponic garden. She brushes a melon tendril away from her face as she addresses the company. I want to thank our commander for making the creation of this hydroponics unit a priority. The fresh produce that we can now enjoy is only the beginning. We're also growing medicinal herbs for use in the medbay, and as I'm sure you've noticed, the air in this pod is also much more enjoyable, which should serve to improve shipboard health. Farah flashes you a smile. So I would like you all to take a deep breath and raise a tomato or strawberry or whatever you fancy in salute to our commander and to our new garden. The entire crew lets out a lusty cheer, followed by the sound of contented munching. We get 2 morale, which is well worth it. We only lost 15,000 to do that. And the company gains +3 medical points boost for 30 days. We don't need it at the moment, but hey, you never know. I'd kind of prefer if it was more than 30 days, but hey. You get what you can. We're still working on the machine shop, and that'll be done in 11 days, but we're going to arrive on the planet in 8. We are going to have to pay our financial report. We're looking at 48 morale. I honestly don't think I want to pay any more for morale, because we may get morale just through events like that. So no need to do that, because if we get that morale through those events, well, we'd be maxed out and we wouldn't get the value. Now, that'd be a bummer, right? Although we can also lose morale through those events. So far, I've been pretty lucky. Although often, it's pretty easy to figure out what the right choice is for a lot of these events. But then again, making the same choice in the same event isn't always going to give you the same results with this game.
Got a new financial report for you, Commander.
Okay. And again, we're just going to stay at normal. No reason to go more than that. All right, we get our trebuchet done. This is where we'd have to make that decision. Do we want to rip out that cockpit mod or not? Because I may be able to just buy one at our destination, and then if it only takes a day to put it in place, that's not a big deal. We also have that better range thing, range finder or whatever it's called. I'm not going to begin this just yet, because obviously we want to go to the store, and we have some other things to do as well. Okay, so we have some mech parts that we could pick up. We've got a dragon, grasshopper, Yagermech, locust. Unless we already have parts for some of these, it's not really worth picking up. Nope, not really. Okay, we have an AC-10 with +2 accuracy, +2 accuracy. LRM 5, again, not seeing... Ah! Our first damage upgrade! We have to buy this without even thinking about it.
New weapon system.
Seems like damage upgrades on LRMs are very rare nowadays. I'm not sure if they rebalanced it or something. Okay, leg mod, leg mod. Yeah. Not really using the targeting systems much at all. Okay, well, that's that. Let's take a look at... The only problem with allowing ourselves to House Steiner is, I mean, is there ever going to be a place where I can use this faction thing? I almost want to do it just to find out. Like, how do we take advantage of alliances with people that are off the board, like the Draconis Combine and House Steiner? Well, in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at contracts on this planet. Hey, you never know. I think there was only a one skull location, so I don't think we're going to expect anything too crazy here. Now we got a half skull mission for House Davian. This is against pirates, so we probably want to do it, even though it's not for House Davian. No, looks like three missions that we could all do. These two are really easy, although they pay not bad, 215,000. For a half skull mission. That sounds good. I don't really honestly remember. It has decent salvage as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our mech warriors. That's a real thing we're going to round this out with. Okie dokie. We've got
Commander.
Gnarly, who more than likely will use. So melee hit chance. Or weapon hit. I think we go with the weapon hit. That makes sense, right? Based off of how we use her. Okay, my pilot. Looks like we're good to go. We should also probably level up backup pilots as well.
Waiting for orders.
Okay, so Revere. Piloting skill. Guts. I think we're saving up for this. So let's just continue there.
Waiting for orders.
You can't afford anything.
Yeah.
You can't afford anything.
Standing by.
And you can't afford anything. So that was nice and easy.
Waiting for orders.
Alright, well, I guess that's that. Unless, of course, we want to give her something. What that would be, I'm not really sure. I think we can hold off on that. Okay, so we got at least one level up, maybe. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at... You know what? Actually, honestly, this is a good point to go ahead and put a cut in the video. So we'll look at the Flashpoint in the next video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.